Welcome to episode 5 of the Disney Explorers, where each week we explore the world of Disney movies, Disney travel, and Disney culture. This week we will be talking about Disney's summer movies. We'll also be talking about drinks around Walt Disney World, Disneyland, and on Disney Cruise Line, both adult beverages and otherwise. And in our blog highlight this week, we will be talking about the Awaken Summer events, which have just been kicked off over the holiday weekend. And joining us this week, we have our troupe. First off, we have Milford, our fearless producer.
Hello.
Our rogue pirate, RJ.
Hello, everyone.
Our Jedi Master trip planner, Adrian.
Hey, everybody.
Our in-house brewmaster, Crystal.
Hey, you all.
And I'm Mel. So let's just jump right into it. This week begins the official opening of summer, or the unofficial opening of summer. But Disney already started its movie season early with Captain America, which was released on May 6th. And adding to Captain America, they don't have 3, 4, they have 5 other releases. So in all, from May through the first weekend of September, there will be a total of 6 movies released from Disney Motion Pictures and Pixar. So who's seen Captain America?
I have.
Me too.
Not I.
Of course.
Yeah, sorry.
So it's 3 weeks after the release, so I think we're okay to talk spoilers right now. Who loved it?
Loved it.
Loved it.
Loved it.
Cool. Unanimous, because everyone else would be wrong. This was a great movie. Oh my goodness. Political themes, intrigue, infighting. Oh goodness. Loved it, loved it.
And it felt like they've all kind of settled into their characters more. I felt like I didn't love Scarlett Johansson as the Black Widow for the first probably 2 or 3 movies, but I loved her in this one. I thought she was great.
Oh yeah, my son said it made it better Avengers 2 than Avengers 2.
Yeah, I agree.
And no, it was great. I loved the division and how it seemed like each person had a reason for being on which side, and that's not even getting into the politics of it all, of going with the government agency like Tony Stark did versus fiercely protecting your individual freedoms like Captain America did. So it was great. Definitely appropriate for an election year.
Yeah.
Like I said, without getting too political, it definitely makes you think.
Definitely.
All right. And this weekend, I can answer the question, which won out, Alice Through the Looking Glass or the X-Men Apocalypse. Now, X-Men not technically Disney, however, since it is Marvel, we'll go with it. I can say that I did not go see either. However, my son and a friend saw X-Men. So maybe next weekend we will be hitting Alice Through the Looking Glass, because I still do want to see it. I'm a fierce lover of almost everything that Alan Rickman has ever been in, and seeing him as the voice of the caterpillar butterfly is something I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, I had friends, good friends of ours, went and saw it on Friday night with their daughter, and he liked it a lot. She enjoyed it a lot. He said he enjoyed the first one better. He said he thought it had a little more action than this one did, but he didn't dislike it. So I'm looking forward to it because I really enjoyed the first one.
I heard we'll see it through the magic of time travel in the world of Lewis Carroll. We'll see the baby Tweedles.
Yes.
Oh.
I know, right? How cute are the baby Tweedles going to be? That might be worth the price of admission right there.
Yep.
And in 3 more short weeks, the long-awaited premiere of Finding Dory. I think my middle son, was in the 5th grade when they announced Finding Dory was going to happen officially, and now he's about to finish the 8th grade. and I can tell you that Dory's just keep swimming mantra single-handedly is responsible for me getting through the toddler years with all 3 of my kids intact with my sanity, because I can remember Finding Nemo being on the DVD player while I'm trying to cook dinner before my husband made it home from work with 3 kids, probably all under the age of 5 at one time. And just keep swimming was just how I got through my day. So I am excited to see what happens with Dory and the gang now. And there's some new favorites that are going to be coming out. There's a few of the actors from Modern Family who will be voicing characters. I know for a fact I will be seeing it on June 18th. My husband's company rents out movie theaters from time to time when these big family movies come out, and we already have our tickets.
Oh, awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, usually...
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I'm so excited. I was in college when Finding Nemo came out, and I can still, I have these like memories of me and my roommates in college all spread out on the couches in our living room in our little apartment, and just 21-year-olds sitting there staring and watching this movie. We loved it, and I am so excited.
That's funny.
Right? It's crazy. We were very exciting college students, clearly.
Yeah, that'll definitely be one that all three kids will sit through and watch, even the little guy.
Yeah.
If he made it through Inside Out, he can make it. He'll make it through this.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just wondering if we will get to see Darla.
Maybe they bring her back in like a cool role like they did with Sid in Toy Story 3, driving a garbage truck or something. Maybe she won't be driving a garbage truck, but, maybe there'll be like a cameo thing.
She'll be a worker at the aquarium where Dory gets sent to be rescued from the can rings that she gets stuck in.
Right.
We have to see Darla. That really would be.
It.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
And
the parks already has they already have some of the Finding Dory merchandise out, so pretty cool stuff too.
So does the Disney store. We were there it was around my daughter's birthday, so it was about the first week of April. They were totally already in Finding Dory mode.
Oh, definitely.
Swim gear, of course. I mean, it's a perfect summer movie. Swimming. It's the one tie-in that that the cruise ships really don't have. I mean, they already have the Pixar tie-ins, Star Wars, Frozen, but I've yet to see them totally embrace the Finding Nemo yet. They do have Flounder's Nursery, although that's Little Mermaid.
Right. That's interesting. I would have. Isn't the one of the kids' floors like the Oceaneers Club?
It's not the Oceaneers Club that I've seen, but they do have one little splashy area on the Fantasy that has that. But I would think that they would just, I mean, this is Disney. They take a theme and they run. I would think it would be all over the kids' areas. But
yeah, it seems like a perfect fit.
Our son loves that Finding Nemo toddler splash area on the cruise ships.
It is cute. On the Reimagined Magic, and I might be on the Dream as well, it's Donald's nephews are doing
I thought they
area.
redid that on the Dream when they were in dry dock last fall.
With the way it is on the Magic now, and I've never been on the Dream, it's the one ship I haven't been on, but on the Magic they have where Donald and his nephews are splashing about, making mayhem, and causing Donald big headaches. But the water the whole backstory is that the water that they're gathering is used for the big slide in that area. So they're using that water to fuel the big thrill ride for that particular part. So,
cool.
But no, that on the Magic it's not Dory or Nemo.
Well, I'll be on the Dream in 2 weeks, or in a week, so I'll let you know.
Take lots of pictures.
Oh, I will be.
Nice.
I'm hoping some of these movies will be on there.
They will. Usually any release within the last year, you'll find it in the rotation. When we were on in December, obviously Star Wars was a big one, but they also have The Good Dinosaur and Bridge of Spies, all of those. So anything usually within the last year, we'll find a spot.
Yeah, I figure Alice will be on there, and probably Star Wars.
Oh, yes.
I'm a little early for Finding Dory, because that doesn't come out till the 17th. We get off the boat the 10th, sadly. So.
Not sadly. Come on.
It's sadly.
Still good.
I want to live on the boat.
True. That is the worst day of any vacation, is disembarkation. Now, July 1st, right before the 4th of July holiday, the BFG comes out. I'm a little excited about this one. I hope it's great. BFG stands for Big Friendly Giant. It's an adaptation of a Roald Dahl book that was written, I want to say, in the mid-'80s. It's directed by Steven Spielberg. So I have pretty high hopes for this one. It's
Yeah, I'd say.
it looks really interesting. The animation might be more appropriate for older kids. It's not typical Disney animation style. So if your kids are used to anything from Beauty and the Beast on up to Frozen, it won't look like that. The animation looks really neat. I'm thinking tween boys should really, really like it. I'm sure girls too, but my daughter never hooked onto Roald Dahl books like my son did. So I know it's going to be something he'll really enjoy.
I watched the trailer for the first time today, and I agree with you on the animation. It's more sophisticated, I think.
Absolutely.
But I had never read the book, so I'm not familiar with the storyline really. But the BFG, the way that they've created the look of that character so reminded me of the Labyrinth.
Yes, yes.
I can't remember the little troll guy's name that kind of led her through the labyrinth, but
right.
That the look and the face of that, it so called me back to that. I meant to actually look to see if anybody had worked on them both.
Well, those were the Jim Henson Muppets were
right
in Labyrinth. Right. So the look is definitely consistent with that. And for those who don't know, Roald Dahl is the author responsible for Willy Wonka.
Yep.
Right.
James and the
Witches. Exactly. So this definitely fits into Disney canon very well.
The way they made the giant look, my first impression of it is it reminded me of how Jim Carrey looked in the adaptation of A Christmas Carol with the long nose and the slender face.
Right.
It was a similar look, it seemed like. I'm sure they're not going for that same persona, but the initial, like when I first saw the first picture of it, I was like, whoa. But I remember reading the book when I was a child in elementary school, and I'm sure it'll all come back to me seeing this. I'm pretty interested in seeing it too.
And moving on to August, there's about 6 weeks, believe it or not, with all of these movies. We have 6 weeks between the BFG and the live action remake of Pete's Dragon. Now, the original movie was released in 1977. So it's definitely not the 1970s Pete's Dragon. Got to admit, I am kind of skeptical on it. It brings it, instead of where Pete's Dragon in 77 was more of a period piece looking back, this one's current. This is 2016 Pete's Dragon. The cast, we've got Carl Urban, and for people who don't know, he's Bones in Star Trek. He was also in Lord of the Rings. Bryce Dallas Howard, oh, love her. She was in Twilight, she's Jurassic World, The Help. She's actually the daughter of Ron Howard, who directed, I mean, obviously we know who Ron Howard is from Happy Days, but he directed Touchstone, which is Disney's first all live, or of the 80s, all live action movies. He directed Splash.
Yep.
Well, I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, I was never a giant fan of the original, so I don't know that I'll rush out to see this.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'm skeptical. I want it to win me over. I really do. I'm skeptical with an open heart on that one. And the last movie of the summer season is called The Light Between Oceans. It is based on the debut novel by M.L. Stedman and is set in post-World War I Australia. Now, the way this is actually a Disney movie is a little unconventional. It's actually a Touchstone picture, which is under the Disney umbrella, but it is produced by DreamWorks and distributed by Walt Disney Motion Pictures. So, there's nothing confusing about that. But since it's a Touchstone movie distributed by Walt Disney, we'll still call it a Disney movie. It's actually, there's already Oscar buzz about this movie. So it's for grown-ups. I don't know what the rating is on it. I'm going to guess just by the subject matter, it's going to be at least a PG-13, maybe even an R. There's a couple who has trouble having children of their own, and a mysterious child washes up on the shores where they have, I believe it's a lighthouse on the shores of Australia. Complex movie about, family and losing family. I'm going to go with it's probably PG-13 or R. But
IMDb says PG-13.
Okay. So probably they kept, but yeah, it's definitely something on my radar. And like I said, there's already Oscar buzz about it.
Well, the cast looks awesome. I mean, you can't go wrong with Michael Fassbender or Rachel Weisz or any of that. So
absolutely,
you know.
And even just watching the trailer, on one minute you're on one mom's side, and the other minute you're on the other mom's side. It's heart wrenching, especially for me as a mom to watch. Just the trailer. I'm going to be a mess if I actually watch that movie in the theaters. It's probably rates a couple of boxes of tissues, I can guarantee. Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
And finally, it's not a new movie, but Zootopia comes out on June 7th on DVD and Blu-ray, just in time for the summer road trip season to stock on your DVD players, which are required travel gear in my household.
Yes. Yes. We don't buy movies without digital copies, so we can load them on the iPads.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, no doubt.
I rarely buy Blu-rays because my kids' computers only play DVDs. The DVD player in my car only plays DVDs, so I rarely even spring for the Blu-rays anymore. But I can guarantee you Zootopia, even with teenagers, Zootopia will be in high rotation this summer. I raised those kids right, I tell you.
There you go.
I'm really excited for this one. We took our children 5 and 2 to this one, and my son, who's the 2-year-old, was not quite ready for a movie theater experience. So I may have had to leave before the last 15 minutes. So I'm really excited to figure out, how it all ends, actually.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm definitely.
Me neither.
It was really good, what we saw. It was really, really good.
I have heard great things about it.
Yeah. And it's got like a crazy high Rotten Tomatoes rating, like 98% or something. So, yeah, it's on up there.
Very good.
All right. Well, moving on. Our next topic of the night is going to be drinks.
Yay.
Drinking around the world, drinking all around Walt Disney World, at the resorts, at Disneyland, on the cruise ships. There's no shortage, whether it's a milkshake at, I'm drawing a blank, the name of the ice cream shop over at the Beach Club.
Beaches and Cream.
Thank you. Don't you hate when the names just fly out of your brain? I'm thinking kitchen sink. Where's the kitchen sink? And then Beaches and Cream. I couldn't even, whether you having milkshakes there. Oh my goodness. There's nothing there that's not delicious. Or whether you decide to go the adult route just across the pool over at Hurricane Hannah's, there's no shortage of drinks to be had. So let's start. Who wants to start off tonight with their favorites? Milford, what do you got?
I gotta go back to Disney Cruise Line and the conch cooler on the island. It's the best. Rum and some sort of banana liquor, and it's frozen. It's cold.
We had a couple of those when we were at the cabanas, and the bartender kept bringing them to us, and I'm sure we paid for them, but I don't know.
Yeah, and the best part is after 3 o'clock, they have to clean the machines out. They're 2 for the price of 1.
Ooh.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Not.
Other than that, I mean, I like the now trying to escape me what they're called. Smoothies on the cruise line as well. The smoothie places. Pretty fantastic.
Yep. I remember those being very good from the one and only cruise that I've taken.
My son loves them. That's one thing. He usually gets a couple a day.
And then the only other... go ahead.
Go ahead. I was saying, just a quick tip, the smoothies are not free on board Disney Cruise Line. They are not part of the included beverages with your fare. So just so you know, when you're ordering multiple smoothies a day like my kids do, like your room's going to get charged for them. Yeah. Exactly. They are. Yeah, exactly. They are on the tune of $6 to $8 per smoothie. But for 2 a day, I'm good.
Yeah. And then my other is, any of the specialty drinks they have around different special occasions, like at Christmas. We were there a couple years ago at Christmas, and now they do like a food around the world thing at Christmas at Epcot, and they had peppermint schnapps hot chocolate back in America. So they do a lot of little themed drinks at Christmas and themed drinks at Halloween. And then when they were doing Star Wars weekends, they had particular themed drinks for the Star Wars weekends as well.
Nice.
With a magical Death Star glow cube.
Oh, that's awesome. It's worth it for that right there.
That's great.
I did see pictures of all that stuff.
Yeah, so
glow-in-the-dark accessories make any drink better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm sure I'll come home with at least 2 dozen of those cubes because we'll spend a lot of time in the Skyline bar on the
absolutely.
Cruise ship. My wife seems to have this attraction to glow cubes, so.
Yeah, I've got a ton of them too.
All right, how about you, RJ? I'm sure whatever it is features rum.
Pretty much.
Just a guess. Just a guess.
My hands down favorite is probably anything that you can get at the Polynesian. Either before Trader Sam's was open, the Tambu Lounge. I love the Lapu Lapu and the pineapple. Can't go wrong with that.
That's so fun.
Ooh, that's on my list too.
Actually had a couple of those this weekend.
I saw the picture.
With and without a pineapple. That's very good. The back scratcher is awesome. That's another great drink, and you get a back scratcher with it. And as far as for
How
around
unusual.
I know. And as far as for anywhere else, around Epcot, I usually just kind of stick to, beers that are in each country. I like a lot of the different beers from the different countries. And going like what Milford said on the special occasion stuff, the now defunct High Octane Bar was one of my favorite places to hit in the studios, especially when the Osborne lights were going on, because they had a fantastic list of holiday drinks, rum-based or not. They just had a great selection of just different stuff that they only would sell either during the lights or during the Christmas season. And it's really sad to see that little spot went. And it was a great place to get beer, too, because they had a lot of different varieties besides your normal Yuengling and Bud Light throughout the park. So that was great, too. That's really about it. And there's so many to list, but those are definitely my favorites. Oh, and one in Epcot too. There's a couple of carts in Epcot that sell this frozen slushy drink. I believe I mentioned it last week, called the Tea Breeze. It's frozen lemonade, unsweetened iced tea, and they'll top it off with some Absolute vodka, and for an extra $1, they'll double shot it. So that's a great thing to walk around Future World with if you don't feel like grabbing any beers till you head over to a World Showcase.
Cool. How about you, Adrian?
Okay, well, I'm going to be your G-rated guide for the evening.
We do need one of those from time to time. Thank you.
Definitely.
You're welcome. Y'all don't like defriend me or anything, but I'm just not a fan of alcohol. I've tried and I just can't.
It's okay. So, it's all right. Fine. You be you.
That's right.
Thanks. Be different, right? So even though we are going on the adult-only July trip, and my husband is determined to find something that you can get me tipsy with, but so I made a list of the non-alcoholic drinks that we really, really like. My favorite is the Pog juice at Ohana. It's a mix of passion fruit and orange juice and guava, and it's just delicious. If you've had the jungle juice at Tusker House for breakfast, it's very, very similar.
Yeah.
Yum.
But so good. Like, could drink gallons and gallons of it. And then I haven't tried it yet, but I really, really want to. The LeFou's Brew at Gaston's Tavern.
It's very good.
My kids didn't like it, but I did. So
I liked it. Yeah,
definitely try it.
Yep. Okay,
you can get it in a mug.
List.
Yes.
Right? It looks adorable, too. So
I think it's Disney's answer to butterbeer, but
yes, it looks
definitely a different
similar.
Taste. Yes.
Okay. So that's on my list because I need to try that definitely.
Absolutely.
And then my other favorite thing is the peanut butter and jelly milkshake from the 50s Primetime Cafe. Like crazy sounding, but so good. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
I've always been tempted to try that, but I have not.
And I'm not a peanut butter fan at all either. I know I'm really strange, y'all, but
that's a good thing.
But it's really good. It's really good. Definitely worth a try.
Yeah, that Pog juice has become a staple in my house. I've figured out how to recreate it to the best of and that's all my kids drink. Oh, can we have Disney juice? Can we have Disney juice? It's never just regular orange juice or anything else. So and anytime cousins and everybody comes to my house, it's like, oh, we want Disney juice. We want Disney juice, because there's always a picture of it in the fridge.
Oh, that's adorable.
I think that's the same juice they serve at Boma as well.
I believe so.
I think they call it French juice or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's all similar. It's actually, I've heard in the research I did on it, like in Hawaii, it's like an actual thing. Like they sell, it's called Pog juice, and you can just buy it in the store, like in, where you would get your other juices. I guess that's where they got the idea from, was out in Hawaii.
Definitely go with that. All right, Crystal, I'm going to guess there's some beer on your list. maybe not.
My list is a bit extensive here.
Hey, go for it.
I actually went like park by park because I was like, I don't know any other way to structure this.
It's like picking a favorite child, so you just have to pick what you like about each one.
Exactly. So I kind of started at Epcot, and one of the drinks that I love there, they have this watermelon juice. It's in the Florida Fresh stand. It's just amazingly refreshing, kind of got a little sweet taste to it. And then if you want to, you can add gin to it. So I've only had it non-alcoholic, but I think next time I go, I'm definitely going to get it with gin. And I've tried to recreate it at home, and mine is kind of nasty. Like the texture's not as good. So it's something I would recommend trying at the park. I wouldn't try to recreate it at home. So the watermelon juice at Epcot is one of like my favorite things. They also have frozen Kirin in the Japan pavilion. They take like Kirin beer, pour in the draft beer, and then the actual head of the beer is like a slushy frozen head. It's pretty awesome. So if you like beer and it's very refreshing on a really hot day, you can kind of walk around and it keeps your beer cold as you kind of walk through the different countries. So moving on to Hollywood Studios. So I have to agree with the sci-fi milkshake. So to sit in the drive-in theater and be in the car and have a burger and fries, it's not alcoholic, but love like Oreos, cookies and cream milkshake. I haven't tried the PB&J one though. I feel like I've been missing out.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth a try.
Yeah, and then I also like right there near the Tower of Terror, there's a little stand that you can buy beer as well. And it's just like the domestic. So I love to grab just a Bud Light there and kind of cruise around the streets and look like an all-star mom with my beer in my stroller.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite spots to buy a beer. Like they give you these huge glasses and you can walk around and enjoy the parks with a nice cold Bud Light. And then kind of moving on to Magic Kingdom. So they just started serving beer and wine at Be Our Guest restaurant. So I actually ate there yesterday. And they have one of my favorite wines. So I'm not a big wine drinker. I truly love beer. But they have the Lasseter wine. So John Lasseter from Pixar has his own wine. And they only serve it at select locations. So it's a California winery. But they have it on Disney property. So you can get it at Be Our Guest. It's a red blend. And honestly, like I'm not a big red wine fan. And this is the only one I found that I've really liked. And you can get it at the California Grill, Be Our Guest. They have it at Palo on the cruise ships. And if you're at Remy, you can ask. Sometimes they'll hook you up with it at Remy. But sometimes they'll give it to us. Sometimes they won't. They'll tell us no. And then they'll also have it at Disneyland Hotel at Steakhouse 55. So there's kind of these select pockets where you can get the Lasseter wine. But I highly recommend trying any of them. I really love them. And they're relatively affordable. I mean, they're not out of sight expensive.
And if you are on a Disney cruise on the West Coast, I believe it's the San Francisco stop, you can take a port adventure and go to Lasseter wineries and see the vineyard and see where they make the wine. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I would definitely check out the Lasseter wine, but they do have it at Be Our Guest. And then honestly, I love that I can now drink Starbucks coffee in the Magic Kingdom. So initially I was like, oh, it's going to wreck the theming for me. It's taking too much real world and sticking it in the parks. And now I love drinking a Frappuccino in the parks. So I've completely converted over to Starbucks being one of my favorite drinks within the theme parks.
There's no such thing as too much Starbucks anywhere.
No, get your second win. So go and do a couple of double shots of espresso, and then you can run around the rest of the night. And then moving over to Animal Kingdom, you guys recall, I've never heard it called the Pog juice. I always thought it was Jamba Juice or Minnie Mouse's juice over at the Tusker House, but I'm with you guys. I love some of that mango Jamba Juice. breakfast stuff that you can get. That's amazing as well. And then one of my favorite spots to drink is actually at the resorts. So, there's Trader Sam's. Anything there is amazing. Tiki rum is really good, as well as the Kona beer flight. And then I had the pineapple drink at Kona Cafe. And then just like even off the generic menu, the Moscow Mule in the copper mug. And then some non-alcoholic things I had on my list were afternoon tea at the Grand Floridian. I love afternoon tea.
I haven't done that yet. That is on my bucket list.
Yeah, it's so much fun. We did it at Disneyland as well as Disney World. And honestly, it's been great experiences for both. I would recommend going in and having some time to spend, maybe an hour and a half. We've taken our toddler with us, and it's not been as successful as when it's just the two of us.
And make your reservation in advance.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's a 180-day one there. And then I also love the Joffrey's coffee. So every single resort or restaurant has different flavored Joffrey's coffee. And one of the best is the Kona Cafe. They actually have the Kona French press there. And for my husband's birthday, I recently ordered him a French press and then ordered him the Joffrey's Kona coffee and had them grind it and everything for us. So I highly recommend checking out their coffee too. So that's kind of my list. Ultimately, I love sitting by the pool and just having like a Bud Light Lime, but I will sample and try just about everything. One of the coolest things I got to tell you about is I recently got to go to Disney's Flavor Lab, and it's their new like kitchen behind the scenes area where they design all of the food and beverages that go out into the park. So they just built it in October, and it was one of the coolest experiences. We got to go in and do a little presentation on some upcoming products that they might carry, but it's just like a full build out on a kitchen as well as a bar scene back there. And all their chefs kind of come in and create what's going to be on the menu for the upcoming year. It's a pretty cool experience.
Nice.
I too am a fan of the Joffrey's conversion. I was actually at the parks when the Joffrey's machine started coming in and most of the Nescafes started going out. I'm sure some of the Nescafes still are there, but that's not even coffee. It shouldn't be called coffee. It's whenever you're at the quick service joints at any of the resorts, they have, where the soda machines are, they'd have the Nescafe machines. I don't even know what that is, but calling it coffee, it's criminal. I mean, even alcohols have to have certain standards. Legal standards. There should be a legal standard for coffee, and Nescafe does not meet it.
No,
so
I know
I was putting together my list, and I was like, sadly, my life runs on coffee and beer. Like this is what's fueling my life every day.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
When we were at Food and Wine a couple of years ago, you can do the mixology seminars and different tastings, and we were at the very last one of that year's festival, and the presenter was from Troy and Sons. She was the founder of Troy and Sons Moonshine, which is actually a distillery up here in Asheville, North Carolina, not too far from where I am. Actually, my sister lives in Nashville. So that was really neat getting to meet her. And she has got a phenomenal story. So anytime you hear the story, I mean, Disney's all about the story. Anytime you hear the story behind, the drink or the business and what's going on with it, it just makes it so much more meaningful. So it's not something you can get. The Troy and Sons Moonshine you can probably find definitely around here in North Carolina. We can get it, but it's seasonal. She's been to Food and Wine several times. So I always like going and meeting the mixologists over at Food and Wine. That's always a fun thing. And while I'm on the Food and Wine bandwagon, the La Vie en Rose. It's over in the Paris Pavilion. One of the best parts about World Showcase is that the slushy machines are mostly for the grown-ups. Most of them, my kids always ask, is that one I can try? I'm like, no, no, it's not. All around World Showcase, slushy machines for grown-ups only. But the La Vie en Rose is wonderful. It's a lovely pink slush. It's got Grey Goose, orange vodka, Saint Germain, and then it's mixed with red and white cranberry juice. So it's like a frozen cranberry vodka, just made a little more special.
Wow.
So that it's delicious. And one of my favorite Disney drinks, for a while it was noted as the unofficial drink of the Beach Club Resort, though you can get it at different places. And for a while, Hurricane Hannah's had the nerve to take it off the menu. It was an off-menu item. You had to ask for it. Kind of gave it a little bit of a cult following. It's the Sunken Treasure. You can get it over at the Polynesia now, and it's even featured quite regularly as a drink of the day on Disney Cruise Line. But it's Malibu coconut rum, which is divine.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite. There's some melon liqueur, some other juices, a little bit of Sprite, and some Curacao. Now, depending on your barkeep, it can be anywhere from a bright green with shades of yellow to bright blue. I've had it come to me. No matter how it comes, it's delicious, whatever color. Sometimes it's even layered in pretty layers. Depends on how artistic the barkeep is, but there's no wrong way to have a Sunken Treasure. But I'm glad it's back on the menu. It's not something that the newer bartenders will look at you with crazy eyes if you order it. When I'm like, it's not on the menu. And he looked over at the other bartender, and the other bartender was like, yep, got it. So I'm glad to see it's actually officially on the menu on the websites and on the menu for different I think it's at Trader Sam's now too, but it's definitely over at Hurricane Hannah's and on any bar on Disney Cruise Line. You can definitely find that one too. But, Malibu rum, you can't go wrong with that.
Nope. It goes good with everything.
Every parent of young children needs to have Malibu in the house. Because sometimes you just don't have a stocked liquor cabinet with all your juices and your limes and your lemons. And let me tell you, Malibu mixes with Kool-Aid and orange juice and anything you have on hand. So
Pog juice.
Absolutely. So Malibu, there's never a time when there's not Malibu at the house. Mama sometimes needs her own juice.
Yep.
Oh, so did we miss anybody's favorites?
I didn't even think of wine, really, because I don't drink much wine either. But at dinner last time we were there, Thanksgiving time, we ate at Trattoria Al Forno, and I couldn't tell you the names of any of them because I don't remember, but they were fantastic red wines. We had 2 or 3 bottles of it was just really good, nice, smooth, easy drinking. So I'm sure there's many restaurants that have not lots of fine wines, but I don't remember paying an arm and a leg for the ones that we got either. We just kind of went off the waiter's recommendations according to our meal, but we didn't have any one that were like, I can't really, I'm choking this down because I don't want to waste it. They were all really good.
Yeah, we love to get a bottle of wine and head back to the resort and just sit out on the patio and just have a glass of wine and relax too, and kind of just watch it all go down, see the fireworks in the distance, and really take in that Disney experience over a glass of wine.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
The one I forgot was in the Japan Pavilion at the back. They have the sake tasting room.
Oh yeah.
And the Hanafuga is a peach sake. I get that every time. My kids love shopping in the Japan Pavilion. They've got all of the anime merchandise, whether it's Pokemon or all kinds of anime. They've got in the Hello Kitty. So while they're having a ball, I go to the back and enjoy a glass or two of sake. That Hanafuga is divine. I love it. And you can usually get that at most wine shops too. It's not something you can't find outside of the world, which I always like, finding the different things that I had at Disney World, and then I find it out and about, and I'm like, oh, I had that there, and then I bring it home, and it just brings back the memories. So I really like that.
Definitely.
Well, all right, moving on to our last topic of the night, we have our blog highlight from Milford at milfordhetzel.com. And this week, we're all about Awaken Summer. All the Awaken Summer events have just now started at the Walt Disney World Resort in Disneyland. So, Milford, take it away. Let us know what's going on.
Well, this Memorial Weekend kicked off a lot of stuff at Disney World. Started off on May 27th, which was Friday at Animal Kingdom. And they kicked off a lot of new things, including the Kilimanjaro's Safari's transition to a nighttime adventure in the extended orange glow of the setting sun. For the first time, they have hyenas and African wild dogs joining the Safari Trail creature feature. They also have the Tree of Life awakens each night amid a lively celebration of Discovery Island music and dance, Through stunning visuals, animal spirits appear and enchanted fireflies reveal stories of wonder as the tree morphs to showcase the magic of the nature. I don't know if anybody's seen the video of this, but it's quite fantastic. It's really cool what they've done with the projection and the lights in the tree to have things come to life. Along with that, there's a new temporary nighttime show on the Discovery River, which features the new hit live-action film, The Jungle Book. And that actually premiered last night, or actually 2 nights ago, Saturday night on the 28th. It's called The Jungle Book Alive with Magic. And it features music and special effects that celebrate the new film and classic songs with an Indian influence. Of course, we gotta eat, so beginning on May 27th on Discovery Island, the new Tiffin's Signature Restaurant opened. It's a travel-themed dining rooms on the waterfront patio on Discovery Island, and it features African, Asian, and South American flavors. I've not heard anybody review it on the internet yet this weekend, so I don't know how that came out. Also, across the park, they can entertain themselves at all kinds of other different things, including the favorites of Expedition Everest, Dinosaur, Kali River Rapids, and more at nighttime. So, I don't know if anybody's ever ridden Everest after it's gotten dark. I've only done it a couple times, but it's pretty cool, especially if you're in the front row or front car. When you get up to the end of the track, you can actually see the Magic Kingdom and Epcot, and you pretty much see all of Disney World from up there lit up.
Sounds fun. No, I've never been at Animal Kingdom after dark.
I've been once a few years ago. I was down there when that Fantasyland expansion first opened. We went down there for the pass holder preview thing for like 3 days, myself and my brother, and it was all decked out for Christmas. And he was like, "Hey, let's go over to Animal Kingdom one night. I've never been there for, after dark." And I was like, "Hey, you know what? Neither have I." And it's, besides the Christmas decorations, the park is just beautiful to walk around on. I don't recall us riding the roller coaster. I think we just kind of went on like reconnaissance mission, just kind of took pictures and wandered around the place. But I can only imagine it's probably pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So coming up in June at Epcot, Anna and Elsa will be opening up in their new space in the Norway Pavilion with the Frozen Ever After boat ride. Sails into a frozen world at the Norway Pavilion starting June 21st. Passengers on their way to Arendelle's winter and summer celebration for Queen Elsa visit the Ice Palace and hear beloved film tunes plus new lyrics by Oscar-winning Let It Go songwriters Bobby Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez. Also at the Norway Pavilion, Anna and Elsa will greet guests in the new Royal Summer House, modeled after a traditional Norwegian cabin. Future World guests will celebrate U.S. debut of the expanded Soarin' Around the World attraction at the Land Pavilion starting on June 17th, now with a third Epcot theater, plus new digital screens and projection systems.
Yay, I'm excited about that.
I'm super excited about this one.
Absolutely.
It means shorter wait times, I hope.
Absolutely. And I don't know what goes on behind the
so.
scenes with Imagineering, but how hard would it be to just program the swings to jostle and jiggle about for different scenes anyway? I mean, you would think that almost like Star Wars, where you can go in and get a different scene every time, and the ride train that you're in jostles appropriately. You would think that would be, with all of the technology that's come along in the last 15 years, that would be something that they could do for Soarin' as well. So sometimes you get Soarin' over California, sometimes you get Soarin' over Florida. Who knows what you'll get? But you would think.
I did hear, I'm not sure about in California, but in Disney World, I guess for the first week or so, they're going to show the old film before the new film, which, man, I wish I can get a fly down there for a day just to see that.
With the new enhanced screens and things like that. That'll be neat.
And the soundtrack
Maybe the smells.
upgraded. Oh man, that'd be fantastic. I love that attraction.
Yep.
Oh, it's our favorite. Hands down favorite.
Yep.
And then additionally at Epcot, you can find new additions to Turtle Talk with Crush, as it will feature characters from Disney Pixar's Finding Dory.
Of course it will.
When he swings up to the human tank at Epcot, he'll be joined by Dory and some of her new friends that guests will get to know better when Finding Dory swims into theaters on June 17th.
Oh, I'm excited about that one. I love Turtle Talk with
Yeah,
Crush.
it is pretty cool.
It's great.
It is funny. If you get the right group of kids in the front, it's pretty hysterical.
Yes.
When we were there last time, and like I said, my kids are older, so we just watched all of the other kids interact. But the first kid goes, "What's your favorite color?" And of course, Crush goes blue for the ocean. And then the next kid's like, "But what's your favorite color?" And this went on. No fewer than 10 kids in a row asked Crush what his favorite color is. It was hysterical because then he started going, "Well, your shell's pink, so maybe it's blue." It was so funny. I wish I had videotaped that, but none of my kids were young enough to really kind of be a part of it, so I was just experiencing it. I laughed so hard. It's the heart. I mean, this character was asked this question 10 different times by 10 kids right in a row, but the heart he brought to each answer, he never like made any of the kids feel bad for the question. He just kept it light and funny and was like, I always wanted to share with you what my favorite color was. And he just, it was so sweet and so funny. So if you've never been, go. Even if you don't have any kids, go. It's so fun.
I call that polite sarcasm. Intended
Yes.
for the adults. I mean, we laughed.
Sarcasm with heart. It really was.
The kids get their answer. They don't know that it's monotonous, and the adults are cracking up because it's like, oh gosh, this guy's going to snap if they ask him again.
He never snapped. We were thinking he would, but no. Oh, it was great.
Cool. So we'll move on to Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
And we have a new stage show, finally.
Yay!
Woo!
For the first time, Tiana...
In forever.
Yeah, in forever.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that
I couldn't
Dream
help
Along
it,
with
sorry.
Mickey thing's been there for like, what, 3-4 years?
For the first time
yeah.
forever.
I think longer than that.
Yeah. So, for the first time, Tiana of Princess and the Frog and Rapunzel of Tangled co-star
Yay.
with Anna and Elsa of Frozen. Shocker.
Can't get rid
Of
of
course
that.
they do.
And a host of favorite Disney
That's
characters
my theme of the night.
in the new Mickey's Royal Friendship Fair. Performed on the grandest stage in the kingdom, the star-studded tale of friendship presents Mickey Mouse and his troupe of merrymakers, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, Daisy Duck, Goofy, who invite 10 new friends from different animated worlds to join the celebration. This timeless fairy tale of a show combines grand dance, fireworks, and stunts with memorable music and original song and special effects. So that I'm kind of excited about that because I like to watch the shows.
Yeah, me too. I didn't hear any villains in there though.
No, it didn't sound that way, but yeah, you
Unless
never
they're
know.
Keeping it a surprise.
Yeah.
I'm-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm glad Rapunzel's in it. That's one of my favorite movies because Rapunzel reminds me very much of my daughter. So it's anything that they
She's
have
cheeky.
Rapunzel
I like
in.
her.
Yeah, the hair too. My daughter's got long blonde hair down to her knees, so it's the whole
Aw.
thing.
Yeah, she doesn't get included in a lot of stuff in the parks. Sadly.
No,
You
not
know,
at
She
all.
other than she
should.
has her little tower over there in Fantasyland, but
Oh yeah,
you know that's pretty much it.
such an underrated movie. That movie is hysterical. Well written.
It is fantastic.
Disney Parks will welcome Elena of Avalor, Disney's first princess inspired by diverse Latin cultures. Elena of Avalor, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, will appear at Walt Disney World Resort later this summer and at Disneyland Resort in the fall, following her television debut in a new animated series this summer on Disney Channel.
That was the first I heard of it.
I think there was some stuff that came out 3 or 4 weeks ago about the new series on Disney Channel for her. I didn't get a whole lot out of it.
I don't know a whole lot. I've seen some, just I have a 5-year-old daughter, so some, but I don't know. There's not been as much hype around it, I think, as like there was for Sophia, the first when she came out.
And wasn't Sophia supposed to be of a different ethnicity? I thought when that whole thing
She
started.
is.
She is, right?
Yeah, she is.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I couldn't remember.
And then next door to the legendary Jungle Cruise, guests can enjoy the bold flavors of world-famous jungle cuisine, say that 100 times fast, served by the
Jungle Cruise.
wisecracking crew of the new Jungle Navigation Company Limited Skipper Canteen. It's the first Disney full-service restaurant themed after a specific park attraction. And I think this is actually already open, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been open.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, it's been open
Okay.
for a while.
I like when
Yeah.
the servers are in character, so that should be fun.
Definitely.
We've tried it out a few times. The food's really good. They've actually already tweaked the menu a time or two, saying that it was too exotic. People were expecting like the burgers and chicken tenders, and they had, shrimp
Good food.
and they had like
They had good food, and people complain.
They did, yeah.
Oh, heartbreaking.
Not used to that in the Magic Kingdom. That's why.
Yeah. Every kid wants their chicken tenders, right?
Apparently.
And pizza.
And pizza. All right, so moving on to Disney's Hollywood Studios. Of course, we've got all the Star Trek stuff that's happened this last year. And a new
Did you just
movie.
say Star Trek?
Star Wars? Oh my God!
Oh,
did I do
you
that?
broke my nerdy heart.
Oh.
Star Wars.
Oh.
Star Wars. Gosh.
Okay, they do have the same director, so you're only
Yeah,
slightly
I'm
forgiven.
kind of safe,
Oh, it just hurt me a little bit.
The next generation of Star Wars themed fireworks shows. Star
See,
Wars.
that's what got you. It was the next generation.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly right.
That's going to confuse a lot of people. You can't say the next generation with Star Wars.
I know.
That's just
No.
crossing canon there. You can't
That's
do
right.
that.
That's how they're billing it, though.
Yeah.
What? Is Jean-Luc Picard featured? 'Cause if not, then
No.
I might have to actually launch a complaint.
So
Oh, you should have seen Adrian and me tweeting last night about Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Oh,
Harry
no, okay.
Potter and
Oh, our crossing of our nerd canon. So
Uh-oh.
I guess we should celebrate the next generation Star Wars. Okay,
That's
continue.
So the next generation of Star Wars themed fireworks shows, Star Wars: A Galactic Spectacular, will premiere June 17th with new themed fireworks, lasers, special effects, and video projections of iconic characters and scenes from the complete saga, all set to the unforgettable score of the film series. So I'm kind of excited about that because I like fireworks, and I miss the fact that they don't have fireworks except for Fantasmic at Hollywood Studios. So having this every night, I'm a fan of. Then also the live stage show Star Wars: A Galaxy Far, Far Away actually debuted April 4th, celebrating iconic moments from the Star Wars saga with live vignettes featuring popular characters such as BB-8, Kylo Ren, Chewbacca, Darth Vader, and Darth Maul. And then, of course, First Order Stormtroopers, led by Captain Phasma, march from the Star Wars launch bay to the park's center stage, adding menace to the entertainment. Star Wars Launch Bay showcases large-scale artifacts and encounters with characters including Kylo Ren. The re-imaged Jedi Training Trials of the Temple experience also features new characters. And as Star Tours, the adventure continues. Guests buckle up for an enhanced high-speed journey with new Star Wars, The Force Awakens characters, and a visit to Jakku. So
Cool.
that's actually been going on for a little while because the launch bay actually opened a few months ago.
Yep.
But I'm really excited about the fireworks.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. I'm excited
Um,
about any of the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It
so I
doesn't
guess,
take much, just a little something for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm so excited about Rogue One in December.
me too.
I'm ready for that. So, that was the 4 parks. We also have Disney Springs and the water parks, which I'll make a mention about the water parks, something additional after I get through this that I learned yesterday. Inspired by Florida's waterfront towns and natural beauty, Disney Springs is a charming district filled with unique retailers and restaurants from award-winning chefs. Throughout the summer, new stores and restaurants will open as Disney Springs more than doubles the number of retail, dining, and other venues for guests. And we've talked about a lot of this already. They've opened up the Pandora shop, and I believe the Tommy Bahama shop's open.
And not the Pandora from Animal Kingdom
Yes,
shop.
yes, not Pandora from
Not
Animal
that
Kingdom.
Pandora.
Not
it's a different
Pandora from Avatar.
It's
It's the
jewelry for... I call it mom jewelry, though it's really not. All my mom friends have it. So, Pandora, Pandora bracelets. They're charms and fabulous, but no blue people.
I'd rather buy a bioluminescent plant than a bracelet. So
Aw.
maybe we will get those. Over
Maybe
at
they'll
Animal
have
Kingdom.
luminescent charms.
There you go.
Yeah, but I can't put that in my yard and light it up. I want something I can put in my yard.
So hopefully I'll come back here in a couple of weeks with lots of pictures of Disney Springs and the shops that have opened in the area. Also, I've talked about on previous shows, the Morimoto Asia. They'll actually have celebrity chef Rick Bayless and Chef Art Smith joining Chef Morimoto in a growing collection of James Beard award-winning chefs at Disney Springs this summer. And then we also have Cirque du Soleil. They have some new
That
additions.
sounds southern, Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du
Wasn't that a
I can
suntan
never
lotion?
pronounce that right. Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah. They've got some additions to their show this summer.
Cool.
At the water parks, they're adding some things at the water parks. Obviously, Disney's Blizzard Beach is going to have some Frozen things. Olaf from Disney's animated hit Frozen will be living his in-summer dream as he and Kristoff host the Frozen Games of Friendly, competitions that begin the 27th of May and run through August 21st. Of course, Typhoon Lagoon has their normal stuff with the Crush and Gusher coaster. Looks like some additional drinks this summer. In addition to that, I did learn this week there's some changes to the bus transportation for the water parks. I don't know if anybody else saw that.
Yeah, I heard some of it.
You'll no longer get on a bus to go to downtown Disney and it will make a stop at Typhoon Lagoon. You'll go to downtown
Yay.
Disney where you'll catch a different bus to go to Typhoon Lagoon.
Oh, you have to go to Disney and transfer?
Yep.
Or downtown Disney? Oh,
Yep.
no.
Jeez.
And then for Blizzard Beach, you have to take a bus to Animal Kingdom, and the bus will take you from Animal Kingdom to Blizzard Beach.
Oh, brother.
Oh.
Yeah, so that will add times to your travel time to the water parks. So
Man.
Lovely.
if anybody listening this week is planning on going to the water parks, just keep that in mind.
Call Uber.
Yes.
I might have to try that.
Oh, man. That'd take that's like an hour going all over the place.
Easily.
Yeah.
Especially going to Animal Kingdom.
Well, even downtown Disney, it seems like every time I'm on a bus to, Disney Springs now, but every time I'm on a bus to there, I always get on the bus where the drivers are switching shifts.
Yes.
Or they have to get off and walk around for 5 minutes. It's like they're 5 minutes of walk around so they don't get DVTs. And I'm like, oh, why?
Yeah, that happens to me all the time, too.
And usually I love the drivers, but oh my goodness, I just always happen to be waiting at the time when they're changing shifts, and that's where they get off and back onto the buses. Always seems to be at Disney Springs. Oh well. Yeah, I'm curious to see, especially with the high volume at summer, how that affects people going to the parks. Although considering they reach capacity pretty early in the day, I'm sure it won't affect too much.
Probably not. I just don't understand why during those high points they don't have I'm sure there's some logistical reason, but
A designated
line from not the park to there, but from each hotel. I mean, I know
Right.
some of them are close, and maybe that's why they try to piggyback it, but I always found it kind of aggravating sometimes if you're not going to the water park, but then people are getting on to go to the water park, and I think it screws up their whole thing, the timing and everything. You're definitely not getting one every 20 minutes when they're stopping there.
No.
When they're making 3 stops essentially instead of just 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Buses and transportation are definitely a topic for another week. We could go on and
Yeah.
on about that.
Oh,
Whew.
my. Yeah.
All right. Duly noted. Coming soon, a segment on Disney transportation entitled There's Nothing Magical About a Bus. Oh, you can put pictures of Mickey on it all you want and the nicest, most knowledgeable bus drivers, but at the end of the day, it's still a bus.
Yep.
And probably overcrowded at that. All right. Anything else going on for the summer?
I think that's it.
Oh, wow. That's
At least
a lot.
that I know of. It was an awful lot.
But at least they're coming up with, especially with the high volume, things for repeat visitors to come and see something new, and locals to enjoy different theming during the summer, because summer is usually a time there's no real decorations going. It's not Easter, it's not Halloween yet, so something new and fun to see over the summer.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for the night. So now it's time to say goodbye. Ooh, I don't believe we've already recorded 5 episodes.
Yay!
Yay! And for those of you who are listening to this later on in the week, we are actually recording on Memorial Day. So the Diz Explorers, definitely, we honor all of those who gave their lives for our freedom so that we can enjoy the parks and everything Disney. I just thought, so if you don't know, every night at Magic Kingdom Park and at Disneyland Park, there is a flag retreat ceremony. Have any of you guys participated in that or witnessed that?
I've witnessed
No.
it several
Yes,
times.
I've seen it.
It's amazing. If you've never participated or witnessed the flag retreat, either at Magic Kingdom or at Disneyland Park, it's something I recommend without reservation. The Dapper Dans and sometimes the Disneyland Band will be singing patriotic music, playing patriotic tunes. If there are veterans who are park guests, sometimes they're invited to participate in the ceremony. Oh, very meaningful, especially if you're standing next to somebody who's perhaps not from our country, because obviously international guests are at the Disney parks, and to be able to share that with international visitors, it's amazing. It really is something that I highly recommend.
And 99% of the time, they've got a veteran up there with them that they've selected, that they actually present the flag to, and usually the person ends up taking the flag home with them.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Definitely. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I've got some pictures from when we were at Disneyland Park. My son and I were there, so I'll have to put those up on the website this week. But absolutely a great way to honor our country and our freedom at the parks. And before we leave, we always like to let you guys know how you can get in touch with us online and through social media. So we'll start with Crystal.
Hey, you all. Yeah, check me out on Twitter at Disney Brewing.
And Adrienne.
All right, my blog is at wdwbound.com, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram at AdriWDWBound and Twitter at WDWBound_com.
RJ, how can we find you?
You can find me on the Facebook at RJ Lucia Jr. and on Twitter and Instagram and Periscope at Black Pearl 454.
And Milford.
You can find me on my blog at milfordhutzel.com or on Twitter at milfordonmove and also Milford Hutzel on Facebook.
Cool. And this is Mel. You can find me blogging on the official Diz Explorers website at dizexplorers.com. On Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest, you can find me with the @DCL Navigator. If you happen to watch Game of Thrones, you can usually catch Adrienne and me live tweeting everything going on during Game of Thrones.
Right.
Especially this past week where they featured Sam and Gilly a little too much. Therefore, I took to Twitter. And until next week, enjoy the magic, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.